export reminds me of seaports. Seaports reminds me of Apapa. Apapa reminds me of traffic, potholes that have spoilt my tire. It's just like, oh gosh. But out of courtesy, I decided to read the book. And very soon I found myself underlining and highlighting things. I was just like, you know what? I can actually do this. I can actually export. So just give me a couple of months, you know. Very soon I'll be adding importer, exporter to my bio. Thank you very much. But it's great to see familiar faces here. It's great to see faces of people I've heard of but haven't seen before now. I'd like to pay special recognition to Mrs. Adeton Tade. Can you please stand up for recognition? She is the president of IVLP, that's the International Visitors Leadership Program, Lagos chapter. You're welcome, Ma. I'd like to pay special recognition to Mr. Jimmy Tewe. You are welcome. He's the CEO of the Jimmy Tewe Company. I've heard so much about you, sir. It's nice to meet you. I'll probably come for 5 minutes coaching or something to radically change my life. I'd also like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Saudat Salami. She is the founder, CEO of Easy Shop, Easy Cook. Welcome, it's great to have you here. I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Babatunde Faleke. He is I know he's here. I saw him. Okay, but he is the Deputy Director, Corporate Services, Nigerian Export Promotion Council. And he's making his way forward. He's going to be, let's clap for him as he comes forward. He flew in for Abuja for this, so please, let's clap. Thank you. You're welcome, sir. There, right here. Right here. Thank you. I would like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Tolu Falola, Regional Manager Sterling and Wilson. You're welcome. And Ifedro Simi Eti, the founder AGS Tribe. You're welcome. Please stand up for recognition. I would also like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Esther Longe. You are welcome. And Mrs. Toyin Oyemade, you're welcome. We'll be going through the list and recognitions much later during the program, but I will like to welcome the person who is responsible for bringing us all together, the author, the writer herself, Mrs. Olori Boye Ajayi.
Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing today? Thank you, Toyosi, for that warm introduction. I'd like to especially recognize so many of you. Like, if you're here, you're special, so I feel really bad I have to reiterate what she's already done. But I'd like to thank all my distinguished guests on site today, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, my special audience joining us virtually. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so grateful. Like, someone was saying to me that, what is the essence of me doing the book launch? I said, it's not the book, it's really for the people, you know. So thank you so much. I'm especially pleased to see that there are thousands of people who represent businesses across Africa who are listening in via radio, TV, or the internet, many of who they embody the passion, the optimism in Africa today. To the SMEs listening, you are on the right track. I'm on this path of building myself, so I understand where you are. I stand before you today as a proud African woman in export, a product of all the struggles and the strength that it possesses, but I'm still standing. Make no mistake, as Africans, we are relentless, and that is why we cannot continue to wallow in what is given or not given to us, as the case may be, but decide to spread our tentacles, beyond the shores of our current business operations. Why, you may say, Olori? My simple answer is eat or be eaten. As small business owners, don't let a surviving mindset sink in. Don't let it give you little or no alternative to seeing your dream business through. Think of the myriad of possibilities out there. Consider where you haven't been before. Some of you may be asking, how will I trade with the global market without traveling out? My simple answer is technology. That's how you conduct borderless trade. As an example, right this minute, we are joined by business owners from countries I have never been to within Africa via the Africa Business radio channel today. I consider it not only incredible, but an efficient way to reach my fellow Africans since I can't hop on a plane like I intended to in 2020. We all know that SMEs are the backbone of major developed economies, as well as important contributors to employment, economic and export growth. In Nigeria, SMEs contribute about 50% to the country's GDP. They account for 90% of industrial businesses and at least 80% of employment. SMEs are the engine of every economy. In there are I'm on the receiving side of these as well as you are. For starters, there's a low pace of economic growth. In specific African countries, there's the rise of automation, the increasing skills gap, and future skills required, among many other things. Businesses like you and I started to plan for these upcoming trends. We were motivated. They said, go and redo what you're doing. You know, AI is here. However, no scenario, at least to the best of my knowledge, accounted for the major disruption of COVID-19 and its negative impact on SMEs. In a recent survey by Budget, cash flow, sales, and revenue were the areas most impacted by COVID-19 for SMEs. It means one thing: you are either sinking or you're swimming. This emphasizes the need for a different approach to doing business, because that helps cushion the effect of future unexpected occurrences. You may think you don't have what it takes to scale, to begin exporting, but no business is too small to export. That is the truth. An NBS report released in 2019 shows that out of the total number of enterprises in Nigeria, MSMEs constitute of 99.9%. So now is your time, and it's time for you to take that leap. Remember this: exporting is not new. I must say that. In the words of Kunle Shoriyo, a man I admire, new is old appearing new to a new generation. Export is what our founding fathers did as they traded goods with other countries. They didn't have the opportunities and advantages you and I have today, but yet they thrived. Let's take advantage of what we have been handed. I believe it is time for small businesses in Africa to wake up. Think differently, package your products, your services to the global market. No one will build your business for you. It's all in your hands. The first edition might not have been written for those in the room here with me, but as key stakeholders of the SME ecosystem, I believe it is our prerogative to charge our small business leaders to lead their businesses in a more wealthy and healthy way, especially in these times. As a CEO myself, I export my services as an exporting trading company under Katie Wang, and my knowledge as a mentor and coach to many Africans and African businesses through the ARC. In both capacities, one thing is sure: I am not confined to my fiscal and immediate location. As I close, I would like you to know that the person sitting next to you is as influential as you are. makes us instrumental is our understanding, is our outstanding zeal to see Africa and Africans come into their full expression. Gathering you all here today was intentional, and I thank you all for honoring my invitation. Here's my charge for today for those listening to me across Africa as business owners, whether you're in Aba, Accra, Addis Ababa, Lagos, Abidjan, Nairobi, Kampala, Maputo, Cairo, Cape Town, Casablanca, Dar es Salaam. I always get that one. It's a tongue twister. Wherever you are all over Africa, Africa is on the move. And a new Africa is emerging in our time. It is time for exponential trade with the world, and that starts with your business. To any viewers, please connected, as there are lots to learn today. Our keynote speaker, he is such a gem to me, and I'm so grateful. He flew in from Abuja just to honor my invitation. He is the Deputy Director of Corporate Services with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, and he has a wealth of knowledge to share. I also have Mr. Kola Awe and Chinwe Egwim, who will be sharing from their immense, knowledge. And I want you all to take your pens and paper. Please write down what you know you need to learn today. You also hear testimonials from business owners on their export journey, as well as our masterclass opportunity to glean information and network with other business professionals as yourself. I sign off with this question. God is global. Why should you be any less? Thank you for listening.
A deserving round of applause. Wow. Yeah, that's a seller. You know, the Bible puts seller. Just pause and think. That's a seller move. The room right now, I'm going to be going around asking people, what comes to mind when you hear export? I've already said Apapa, so you cannot say Apapa. So you're looking at me like, don't come to me. Don't come near me. But I'm going to ask you, what comes to mind when you hear export?
Frustration.
Cost. Okay, cost. That's good. What comes to mind?
Bribery.
What?
Bribery.
Bribery. Like, yes, you have to, I know what you mean, all those containers and all of that. Have to clear them. Okay. Well, we have someone here that I would first of all like to specially recognize before we
He's here right away, but he's on his way. I came here in his honor, because I wouldn't have made it, but when he called away, I don't have any other thing than to give anything to him. And the simple thing is this. I like to start, I wish he's there. I joined the council in February 1991. So then, reluctantly, I got that job. I was never looking for a government job. So I joined. Then I met him on the other side too, a lawyer. So we are two different people. But I can tell him, he doesn't believe it, he doesn't take it as I say, look, you are better than me. Why? You are doing the practical, I'm doing the theory. We choose to be policymakers. He chooses to be an exporter. I look at him, I see relax in his life, I see the way, but I'm under control. There are things I told her, he said, will you use the council? I said, don't use the council, because if you use council, it's not official. I'm here on my honor, and to honor the man, nobody will say, why should you go and meet Kolawe? So that's a two-way. He started doing export. Today, I'm not thinking he's bothered about Forex, because he generates Forex. Today, I don't think he will think about telling me, he will tell me practically, this is what is happening. So that's why it's happening, is what he'll be telling me, not theory, that I will be telling you, do it this way. You know, when you say 2 + 2 is 4, it may not be 4 sometimes. That's just theory. If you think just by the side, sorry. But I need to give that practical example. Look, I will say the danger of not exporting. She came to tell me, I had a different thing. I wanted to review the book. But she just changed my mindset. That look, I'm not about this trade, not this book that is important to me, but to inspire people to export. And I took my notes. So if that is, then this thing must change. And I could do that because of experience, not because I've been 29 years old in the council. So I said, the danger of not exporting. I don't know how many of you have been to Israel before. Have anyone been to Israel? No one has gone to Israel. You've been to Israel, sir. You know Dead Sea. You visited Dead Sea. Wow. Tel Aviv. Now, if you've been to Israel on pilgrimage, I didn't go on pilgrimage, I go for training. So we were taking as advantage to go. So Dead Sea is where everything flows in there. Everything flows in Dead Sea, but nothing goes out of it. So it's so toxic that they made sure there is a flowing well there. That when you enter there, you can be blind immediately, but you rush out to come and bath, take a shower so that it can be cleaned off. But it's so toxic. So many things are there, but it doesn't go to anywhere. So it just consuming. Everything goes there. So any farm that does not export is already dead. I'll give you another example. I don't know where you see when the load does bin, everything waste. It keep on heaping. It be high. It become mountainous at a time. But when you pass through that place, what does happen? It stinks. It stinks. So I'm talking about danger of not exporting. So if you don't export, you don't give away. You are just consuming. Then everything about you will be indecent. Truth be told, I'm giving this another so that I can understand it. So you are just consuming. You are just consuming. It's just somebody who is being fed. You become robotic. You become so obsessed that you will not even like yourself. You can't carry yourself anywhere. So not exporting is like you're just making yourself unnecessarily becoming an importing nation. You are consuming. And it's not about country to country. Country does not trade per se. It is the firm, it is the industries, it is the people that are there that does the trade. Country only support by policy, which is another kettle of fish. But then the farm trades. The farm take decisions. The farm follow things. So country will just provide an enabling environment. So if you don't export, then you have nothing to even do at all. And I give you another story. When I joined the council, one assignment I did was on a cost tribulation scheme. And there's one person I met, I will not mention his name. He's still alive, doing well, big. We were begging, sir, this product is good for export. But he said, I don't need to export because Nigeria has one tendency because the market is big, very big, that if you can take just 1% of the market, you are good to go. So they have this product that everybody just buys it. From the north, from the east, from the south, they rush them. They have good market, fine. But I told him, you need to export. 3 years ago, somebody who's about 70 now called me, look for me. And I told him, we met you some years back. So he's trying to do, because one, he doesn't have access to Forex. So the beauty is that when you export, something is coming in for you, another exchange, another money that you can trade with that is global. You have unhindered, I say, yes, policies-wise, there are things they will say, don't do. But the truth is that you generate another income, another value of money. So you are like that. So you can use it to do anything. You can use it to import. And again, you cannot export without import. I don't want to believe in that. But the truth is that, look, if we don't export, we are as good as going to perish. Because the world is global. The world is global. So you will discover that somebody who is exporting is likely to be more stable than somebody who is not exporting. Because what happens in the other country is also going to happen to him. Times I was in Houston some year, I did last year, and I bought tiger nuts, not up to handful, and it was selling for $5. And I translated $5. And I saw this is what these Hausa boys roll about. With 10 naira, I will have bought this. So, and what has that guy done? Clean it up, no value addition. Clean it up, pick it properly, and put it on the shelf of an African market. And it's working. So you can see why we need export. So if you don't export, the danger is much. Then you will be talking about indecent job. It is then you'll be struggling to get a job. But the multiplier effect of just exporting is huge. Because you can't do export alone. I love what he wrote in the book, what she wrote. You cannot do export alone. You must have a unit, a division. Because export is detailed. I tell people it's not a lift matter, it's step-by-step case. Step 1, step 2, step 3. If you go by lift, you will draw by lift. So it's a process that you must follow. It's not a game of luck. If it's a game of luck, yeah, you can try it. But it's a process that you must work your things out. You must work it out. But the problem is that we don't work things out. So the danger of not exporting is so much that, look, we will become a nation that just consume everything. And we cannot influence. We cannot influence things. But when you are an exporter, you can change things. You might not be making so much each profit, but you'll be a superstar. Because there are things you could do, and you do differently. And you'll be a perfectionist. Then there will be what we call Forex policy. You can decide to be something else there. So when you now export, you earn your foreign exchange, there are a decent job, you are relevant in the global economy. Then you can play within the global value chain. You can trade easily. Then what is happening in another country might not affect you much. Because you have a way out. But when you don't export, it's as good as you are dead. And I'll give an example. We talk about policy drivers. In India, export promotion is product by product. The Export Promotion Council, they have Export Promotion Council for cashew, Export Promotion Council for cosmetics. That's how it's done there. But here we have one. And I want to give credit to President Obasanjo for establishing Nigeria Export Promotion Council. NNPC and NEPC was established same year because they felt oil is going to go away one day. So they decided to say, okay, we have commodity that we can improve upon. They created us. But attention was not given to export. Attention was given to, look at what is happening in oil industry now. You can see that very few people are working, very few people are rich. But the export sector, which is agriculture mostly, there are so many value chain there. So many value chain. I'll give you an example of cocoa now. If you do raw cocoa, it's like 1 naira. But from that cocoa, there is chocolate, there is cocoa butter, there is cocoa liquor. I mean, you can count it. And when you compare it, you see the value. Mr. Kola, where is here? Thank you very much. I'm more encouraged that I'm seeing you around. So you see the value, that you have added value to it. You make more money. You can't compare somebody working in the farm to just gather cocoa and somebody who is now sitting trying to turn it to cocoa liquor. You see what is involved. You see what is engaged. He has added value. I love what we are doing today because, trust me, is building on it. Nobody's reinventing. Nobody's doing anything about it. The cocoa we have now, we export less than Côte d'Ivoire. But when you put Côte d'Ivoire in Nigeria, I think Côte d'Ivoire is no more than Lagos State. But they export more cocoa because they plant more. Everybody still just, we keep pruning the old cocoa. We are not planting new cocoa. Nobody wants to wait for 3-4 years to harvest. What everybody would do is merchant, just sell cocoa. And I tell people, why don't you just start plantation? It takes 3 years. I'm sorry to say this. When you go all the way from Lagos to Ibadan, what I see are churches. And I'm wondering, where is cocoa plantation? Where is banana orchard? Where is cashew? So I'm wondering that, and she said, God is global. If God is global, then other things should be global. I just wonder that, okay, people would take this length of meaning servicing. I'm not condemning them. It's a perfect way of development. But then, look, that road, so many things are to be done there. There are fertile lands. But nobody is planting. Everybody wants to be a trader. And in export process, it's a value chain. The value chain is much. The person that produces it, the person that sells it, the person that do logistics is much. And the world is global now. Honestly, I don't need to have a factory to be an exporter. I don't need to be a manufacturer to be manufacturing. Because the global chain value produces that. Look, I can go to China and produce and put made in Nigeria. All I need is to make sure that NAFDAC endorses it. And I brings it back. So that is the value of value chain. Most of the things in Apple, iPad, they are not made in US. It's in China. So it's very important now that we ever look at how we will be a player in the world trading economy. Otherwise, we keep on just rolling on the same chair, just running a rat race. So export is key. And if we export, we have foreign exchange. There is a decent job. You will be relevant in global economy. I've read the story of Judy, and you're wondering, it just started just like a play. But today, you can see so many things happening. You'll be a superstar as a firm. You will be. Then you will be engaging in healthy competition, not on LD1. You go into research, because the world is a global brain. Then you can be upwardly mobile, because there are information there. Export is just what we need to do. And that's why the council say, look, when you look at, there's a policy in the council we have now, we have 22 products that can knock off oil. And I tell you, yeah, that's my boss policy. But I tell you, there's one product that can knock off oil. Services. services. I've had opportunity to work with Bola Austin Peter. And I say to her, where do you get this inspiration from? You know, when we were growing, I don't know where some of you, but when I was young, we would normally pay, I think, 1 penny to see Ogunde come to play in our school. We sometimes it's free. The school, I went to Baptist school, so we have this social garden once in a month. Baba Salah will come. It's a token that will play, you know. But then, Bola Austin Peter packaged this. Package it. And he went to London. And he has 3 shows fully booked. Fully booked. 3 shows. And so much. So, and I look at services. It's just ingenuity, creativity. That one, no NAFDAC, no sun. Nobody's telling you cannot import this because there must be Fasutani tree, there will be some big names that they will start evaluating it. But this is about cultural affinity. This is about rewriting the story. So I look at services, and they are more like that. Look at entertainment industry. It's about creativity. It's about ingenuity. And there are things that are most like food too. But those you must follow regularly. But I just say, oil is there, but there are other things that are better than oil. The 20 world leading nations, they don't have oil. They don't have oil. So when you look at what is it, Baba Salah, when he started, how much was he earning? But look at it. The comedian of today, they are talking of, you can't negotiate anything less than, I think they start from 500,000 naira if you must invite them. So you see the scale. You see research. So what I'm trying to say is that there are products that can knock out oil totally. That will not only depend on oil. I don't have much time, but I tell you that export is a must or will perish. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please, let's give him a round of applause. You know, for me, I believe that people don't do certain things because they don't know. With this nodding, you people agree with me. Or they don't know how to. Okay, so I told you earlier, for those who just came, I read this book, and I'm already an exporter in my head. Like, she made it so simple. It is straightforward. Believe me, so straightforward. I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Toba Otusonya. Please stand up for recognition, sir. He is the Director General, Office of Transformation, Creativity and Innovation, Lagos State Government. You're welcome, sir. I would also like to welcome or recognize the presence of Professor Demola Abbas. He's the CEO, Linkle Gale Consulting. Link Legal, I apologize, sorry. Link Legal Consulting. And the former SA to the Governor of Lagos State on Overseas Affairs and Investment. You're welcome, sir. And I would like to also recognize the presence of Mr. Kola Awe. We're going to be hearing from you soon. He's the CEO, XPT Logistics, and Chairman, Nasima Export Group. You are welcome, sir. Okay, so earlier during the week, or for the past couple of weeks, we had run a competition online to give 2 people the chance to win an autographed book. So 1 person winning an autographed book and 1 person winning a spot at the Borderless Trade Masterclass. So there is a masterclass after this. Can we even just give her a round of applause for that? There's a masterclass. So after you read the book, you have more questions or you want to know even more, please make plans to attend the masterclass. But I'll have Professor Demola Abbas, please come up. He will be doing the presentation, but before then, he will just give us his thoughts. Give us his thoughts on. No, sir, please come. Want to see your knowledge.
Well, that's a very serious presumption.
Let's just see your knowledge, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. I should have suspected you are going to ambush me one way or the other. Well, anyway, I don't know. It is when Olori told me she wrote this book, and she gave me a copy, and I looked at it. Wow, and I said, well, the only thing I would have loved to change there would have been the title. And I told her she should have just titled it An Idiot's Guide to Exporting. When you want to write a very basic book, you title it Idiot's Guide. But then she said to me, if I'd done that, this is Nigeria, they would say, who are the idiots? You know, because they would take it literally. I was listening to this song a couple of days ago. I don't know who sang it. One of these new people in town saying, no, it was an advert that if you have 4, something like that, then 4 meta is metaphor. It was a beautiful, metaphor, 4 meta. I thought that was a very... Look, when I was listening to Olori speak and also to the gentleman from the council, the NEPC, I think the only thing I would have loved to add is that as Nigerians, we have to pray for one thing. This is the only country that I know that imports what it has. That is oil. I'm sending, I know Mr. Awolowo very well. It's a friend mentioned me to him, and I've told him several times. We met in Egypt during the last, you were there too. Look, anytime I hear, are we doing that one now as well? Yes, yeah, anytime I hear such an initiative is to be commended. And that's one thing Nigerians are still respected for, is intellectuality. Yeah. At the point in time, permit me to say, I think I had whether fortune or misfortune, I don't know now, of spending almost 20 years of my life in the Western world. At the point in time, whenever the word Nigeria was mentioned, if you went to a conference anywhere in the world, or you went to a party and said you are Nigerian, it used to be a conversation killer, basically. Because when you say you are Nigerian, somebody's checking their wallet, somebody's thinking this, and as you know, the kind of nobody really want to remember you for the positives. But one aspect that I think Nigerians are always held in high esteem, no matter what happens, is that intellectual aspect. And so when I saw that, when Olori said she was putting on the master class, I thought that was a fantastic thing. We have to keep on pushing that. And without further ado, the winner of that placement on that is Obiajulu Ngozi Vivian. I hope she's here. Right. Is she here or no? She's not here. Okay.
I don't think she's here.
I said,
no, you can't.
I'm just joking. I don't know. But anyway, to whom it may concern, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's give him a warm round of applause. Let's give him a warm round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. So the masterclass starts in October, but registration opens today. So for everyone interested, please go online and register for the masterclass. I have a free slot, right? Yes, we have a free slot, sir. So Prof and I have free slots. So I'm sure there are questions. For people who have questions, please just take note of your questions. For those online who have questions, please feel free to just drop the questions on the Facebook page that you're watching on or on the YouTube page, and we'll take your questions towards the end of the program. Right now, I'm going to invite Our next speaker, Mr. Kola Awe, barrister Kola Awe, I apologize. He's a renowned serial entrepreneur with over 20 years experience in manufactured products, export logistics, regional haulage, market access consultancy, and export training. He is CEO I should stop. Okay. He is CEO XPT Logistics and Chairman Nasima Export Group. Barrister Kola Awe, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Please remove your mask, sir. Everybody is sick.
Okay, can I do it like this?
Yeah.
That was a long one. Thank you, Olori. Thank you for having me to you several times not to make me a guest speaker. I don't know why you still left me here. Anyway, I have to do the job. Before I continue, I want to say good morning, Mr. Bass. You know, sometimes when people are in government, they become very elusive, but when they're out of government, you can see them everywhere. You would understand. Yeah, it's you. You would understand. Some time ago, let me give you a small story. Some time ago, somebody bumped into my office and he said, we wanted to do something with your office in terms of promoting manufactured product export. That you're the SA in charge of overseas and stuff like that. I said, see, don't waste my time. He said, Mr. Kola, please help me now. I know him very well. He's my big egbon. I said, okay, no problem. I gave him a proposal for you. And that was the last I saw of the guy. And I'm seeing you today. Thank you very much. All right, well, yeah, first of all, let me give accolades to my sister. I met her in 2017 in a training by USAID, and I saw the enthusiasm. You know, she was just asking questions. Yeah. I said, okay, this one wants to know something. So I took my time. Then we started talking, and afterwards, again, we've been talking. Then we met again in Egypt, right? We met in Egypt where we got talking again. Then she called me that she put up a book. I said, send me the soft copy. Then she sent me the soft copy, and like you did, I called her up and I said, this is a nice one. I was reading it, and it was like I was reading Richard Branson's book. How many of you have read Richard Branson? That's how he writes. He writes fluidly and simple, that any idiot, like you said, can understand it. So I said that's a good one. But that's not the high point of my excitement. The high point of my excitement is the fact that I'm seeing a lady, a woman, a mother, a wife, coming to have interest in export. That is the high point. Seriously. I train, this is my guy, you know, let me acknowledge my Oga. They can sack me tomorrow. I train for the Zero to Export. You know, there's a program we have with NEPC, it's called Zero to Export program. We take you from zero to export. And I say to people that people have not exhausted the entire value chain in export. And I look forward to seeing a woman talking about export, like standing and talking export. It is rare. There's only one. I'm not saying it is rare. There's only one. And I gave you the number that you invite the woman. That's my auntie. Where's she? She's online. Okay. She's awesome. She's one person that will stand and talk export, and all of you will like be wowed. And I thank God that Olori is taking after her. That was why I gave you the number that you must invite her so that you can share a lot of things in common. The value chain of export is wide. I'm very excited to see the faces I'm seeing today and the level of your status. In 2012, if you call a meeting on export, you see secondary school student. I'm not joking, no, that's the truth of the matter. You see secondary student, you see some strugglers trying to struggle to go into the business of export. You hardly see the kind of people I'm seeing here. But since 2016, 15 precisely, whoa, the status changed. We started seeing a lot of people that might be interested in the business of export. And the reason is simple, because there is nowhere export is being taught. No school, no university. One of us bumped into export. You know, some people used to ask me that I flew from the bar to the market. That I left the bar to go into the market. There is no school that teaches export. There is no curriculum on export. The best you have on export is international trade in commerce. You remember? Those of us that did what is import, what is export. That's the best you get in terms of export. So that is why a lot of us don't really have interest and passion in the export industry. That's why we're not seeing people that could bring about the change that we need in the export industry. And unfortunately enough, those that are coming in now, they're coming in not with the passion that you need to survive as an exporter. They're coming with a passion to earn dollars. That's the only thing. 80%, most of them are importers. They can't access the FX anymore. 44 items have been removed from FX, from accessing the FX. That means those 44 companies, or 44 products and companies, they need to get the FX. So the next thing that comes to their head is the only source of FX is what? Is export. So they want to get the training, they want to get something to do, they just want to go into the business of export, and most of the time, they create more problem for the industry than it ought to be. And that is the truth of the matter. Early years when the likes of us were exporting charcoal. Charcoal was beautiful to export. It was nice, it was exciting, the money was there. But when everybody came into the business, it became a colossal loss. And that's the truth of the matter. A lot of people care. When too many people come into an industry, you know what will happen. And then when too many people that don't have the knowledge and understanding, there's nothing wrong in people coming into the industry, but the knowledge and understanding is very key. When you don't have the knowledge and understanding, that means you're going to run the business aground. And the thing about export is this: integrity. Integrity of the exporter, integrity of the product. And integrity is not measured here in Nigeria. It's measured where? Outside Nigeria. So when you mention Nigerian commodities, you see people shake like, don't send good products. And that is the truth. As of 2014 or 13, we had 259 abandoned containers of charcoal in Europe. You can imagine that people could not pick up. The buyers could not pick them up. Why? Because there was a huge rush. The nearest, easiest way, and the cheapest, then it just cost about $500,000 naira to do a 40-foot container. So everybody could raise 500,000 naira. So everybody just ran into the industry, and then there was a loss. And now the industry is just trying to build up slowly. So what am I going to say about export to every one of you here today? I've talked about my sister. It's the blood of this nation. It's the blood that is going to drive this nation. Let me take you back a little bit. In the 60s, the 50s and the 60s, the non-export were the one generating the foreign exchange for this country. 94% of foreign earnings of this country was coming from non-export. And today, the reverse is the case. And I say to myself, if we can do it once, then we can do it again. So what do we need to learn? Where did we go wrong? And what do we need to do to get to this new point? If we don't develop our non-oil export, we'll be surprised at where Nigeria is going to be. And that is the truth of the matter. If you go to Lebanon today, if you look at the exchange rate, you think this is possible. It's 10,000 Lebanon fees, 10,000 to the exchange rate. And we are already running what? 5 for the dollars, 600 for the pounds. That's where we're going. And I don't want to be a prophet of doom. If we don't do the right thing and put the right things in place, we will get to 1,000. And when we get to 1,000, there's only one industry that will prosper, and that is export. That is the only industry that will prosper. Either export in commodity products, either export in manufactured products, or export in any product. Those are the industry that will prosper. So the question I want to ask you today, are you going to wait till you get to 1,000 before you start thinking of export? Many of us, when we think about export, we think about export in relationship to agro-commodities. You have to be an expert of agro-commodities. No, you don't have to be an expert of agro-commodities. Neither do you have to be an expert of solid minerals. Whatever you're doing right now, let it have an export background or an export strategy. That is the truth of the matter. There's no business that you're doing that cannot be what? Exported. Every business, if it's services, if it's manufacturing, whatever you're doing, if it's cream, if it's hair attachment that you're selling, every business can be what? Exported. particularly those are the fashion and African-inspired products. I used to tell them, I used to give a good example of a friend of mine, Moody. He's in 6 countries in West Africa. And he started in 2010. And by 2020, he's in 6 countries in West Africa selling the same clothes that you all are making. He's in Ghana, he's in South Africa, he's in Senegal, he's in Nigeria, the one other country, I can't remember. Why? Because this guy, from the inception, he had the mind to become a what? An exporting company. What is it that you're doing right now? You can earn dollar out of it. My big brother said something earlier. He said something about the service industry. There are over $2 trillion. That's over $2 trillion industry, the service industry alone. Nigerian, when we rebase the Nigerian GDP, what did we get? $538 billion. 60% of it was from the service industry. 60, it's about 58 to 60, 58 or 56% was from service industry. So the service industry also is the way to go. So whichever way your business is right now, key into the export platform. Export platform does not mean I have to physically move from here to Ghana. I have to physically move. The online business have made things very easy. There's several online platforms that you can be part of and not imagine. I don't see the reason why you will have a business, you do not have a website, or if you don't have a website, you're not in any of the marketplaces. I became the chairman of Nasima Export Promotion Council, and I know that the basic problem that a lot of manufacturers used to have is access to market, access to finance, and product development, which is just the basic one. So what did we do in Nasima? We developed a platform. It's called NEC Connect. It's going to be running on the same platform like Jumia. And the whole idea is to project made in Nigerian products to the world. But it's not easy just projecting those products because some of those products are not yet feed for what? For export. So what did we do? We started looking backward integration. We started looking at how can we develop their products so that the products can be feed for export. And one of the areas is certification. So we started processing certification. He said, there's some products that you don't need NAFDAC. Yeah, that is true. But manufactured products, you need to get what? NAFDAC. As of today, without saying much, we have gotten NAFDAC for more than 40 companies. 40 not big ones, though. Small size company. We have NAFDAC for them in place now. The reason we're doing that is because the African Continental Free Trade Area is coming up. And if this comes up in January 2021, it means the entire Africa, Europe, Asia are concentrated. The attraction for them is the Nigerian market. It's 200 million market. So Nigeria is the old place that they are looking at. So if they are looking at Nigeria, that means there's going to be huge competition for Nigerian manufacturers, even for your fabrics, for your clothes, for your attachments, for your designs, for everything. And they're going to come in classic ways, well packaged, well designed. And Nigeria, being who we are, we are attracted to what? Foreign things. So your business might think it's doing very well today, but I'll tell you by 2021, it will be singing a different tune. If you command 50% of a market today, 80% of a market today, by 2021, you will not command that same market. And it's simply to identify. Let's look at it this way. Africa has grown what? Astronomically. $478 billion. But Nigerian Bureau of Statistics is saying that we dropped in foreign direct investment. But in Africa, it's growing. Nigeria, it's dropping. And we're the largest in Africa. That simply means people are what? Investing in Africa countries to target the Nigerian market. That is what it simply means. Morocco has been doing everything they can to come into the ECOWAS community so that they can come into the Nigerian market easily. So people will send money, build factories in Morocco, build factories in Egypt, build factories in Northern American countries where they have better infrastructure, better energy, better transportation. and do what? Send to Nigeria duty-free. Because that is the whole essence of the Continental Free Trade Area. So we in ASEMA, we say to ourselves, before they come in and compress, competition can push you to export. But you do not need to wait for competition to push you to export. That's why Coca-Cola, the Guinness we drank, they had an export strategy from inception. So your business must do that. Don't wait for competition to push you out of this country before you start thinking of export. I'll give you a typical example. It's a noodles company. In 2006, one of the things we do access to market in Africa for Nigerian companies. So I approached this company and I asked them, I said, why don't you export to Ghana? And the Indian man looked at me and said, you don't know what we're doing in Nigeria. I said, okay, what are you doing in Nigeria? He said, we cannot even meet the demand in Nigeria. That daily demand we can't meet, that people are paying and they won't get their goods till around 3-4 months. That's the amount of cash that was sitting down in their hand. Well, by 2011, we have 10 noodles factory in Nigeria. And the man quickly called me and said, the last time you came, you said we wanted to go, so where are we going now? What am I saying? Competition. We have that capacity. But I advise you today, before the competition starts, let's start thinking of export. I won't tell you that export is easy. No, I've been in the industry for 20 years. And I've been exporting consistently till date. And I don't just do that. I own trucks that apply to West Africa sub-region, work for multinationals. But the truth of the matter is a tough terrain. Let me prepare your mind. It's not momoy. Sorry to use that word. It's not really momoy. It's not as easy. You need to learn. And export is one thing you can't learn in textbook. You can't even relate textbook to the field, no matter the PhD you have in export. If you're not on the field, you have not what? Started. The dynamics is different on the field. So it takes only people with passion to go into the business of export. It is not coming into export because you want to make dollars. A lot of people have come in with us with that mentality and they have lost their naira trying to make the dollars because your focus is what? Is in the dollar. The funny thing about export is it's not domestic market. If I buy from you, the goods are bad, what do? My money back. It's not like that in export. If you buy, you ship, you buy something good, the goods are good, the man got the good very well, and by the time you're sending their company documents, the documents are faulty. It equally means that what? The product is what? Faulty. Meanwhile, the product is what? Very good. So it's complex. Local market, our laws is governed by local laws of buy and sell, commercial transaction. International is different. There's several laws that govern. You have the local laws, you have the international laws from the various chambers of commerce, GAT and others. Then you have the laws of the country of import. That's why you see that when we export some things, those things are returned back to what? Nigeria. Why? Because we did not fulfill everything that we need to do. This is not a class for trading like we have in 02 Export. So I look forward to seeing you in one of those classes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister Kolawe. I'll be seeing you after this meeting, and I'm very serious, please. She knows I'm serious. I'm saying it again, I'm very serious. Can we give him a warm round of applause? Okay, so can I have all the speakers just come up here in preparation for the Q&A that will be coming up soon. If you don't mind, please just make your way to the front. Thank you. Please let's give them a round of applause. Right now, we are going to take some testimonials. You know, it's easy to hear these things and say, okay, you know, I will do it. There's a lot of I will. I'm one of... Yeah. Okay, I'm one of the people in the I will category, but it's good to hear from people who have already done this, have already seen results, and we'll be having them come up shortly. Before then, I'd like to recognize the presence of Honorable Femi Badejo. He is the Trade and Investment Commissioner to South Africa for the Republic of Vanuatu. You're welcome, sir. Please give a wave. You're welcome. You do? Great. Hello. And that should be Akudo Ihe Akanwa. She's the CEO and creative director of Shikudo. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Okay, fantastic. It's great to have you join us. We would like you to just share your export story with us, your export success story with us.
Thank you very much for having me. Hello, everyone. And a huge congratulations to Olori. Well done. So basically, I'm the founder and creative director behind the Shikudo brand. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm just getting a bit of echo. Okay. So I brought the brand here to Nigeria. I'm gonna remove my earphones because it's a bit difficult. And we actually started exporting out of Nigeria in 2017. And export for us was always an option here because I was raised in Australia. I'm half Nigerian and half Australian. So I did start the brand there, but I decided to brand there to Nigeria. I wanted to show the rest of the world, what we're doing in Nigeria with manufacturing. And I wanted to also help create a new narrative around manufacturing. So we focus on footwear and accessories in particular. And I knew that when I moved to Australia, I knew that there was an interest in some of fashion, in handmade goods, sustainable goods, eco-friendly goods. And I thought, okay, this is something that we can incorporate into our brand. And from there, we actually set up our website and we have been exporting to Nigeria, sorry, to the rest of the world. Since 2017, it was fantastic for us because we had our own medium to be able to, send our products out and deal directly with our customers, and be also earning in a foreign currency as well. So this having the website was actually a fantastic opportunity to enter new markets, and we had a shipping company, DHL, so people felt confident, with receiving goods from Africa because our main customers originally were Australia. So they're like, "Oh, are we going to get out, products from this Nigeria? Oh my gosh, Nigeria!" And I heard earlier, it was said that anytime you bring up Nigeria, there is a lot of kind of looking to the side, and people are getting a little bit uncomfortable. And I know that firsthand, living in Australia my whole life, it's always been difficult to talk about Nigeria. So I wanted to show what we had through fashion. That was my way of telling a different story. So from there, from selling from our website, exporting out, working out that process, we also got some stockists in other countries, which was a really big step for us. And those stockists would actually, get orders from their customers, whether it be in America, in Australia, in UK, Europe, and they will send that order to us, and we will be responsible in sending that out. So when we started getting that, we knew we had to step our game up when it came to exporting because, these customers know they've been getting high quality products from local brands for years and years, and we had to then make sure that our quality was also going to be the same and synonymous with other countries. So, we started to employ a quality control person to be checking all of the items before going out. Originally, it was just me doing everything, and I realized that I couldn't keep doing everything. I needed to give this role to somebody else. And then from there, we started building up our foreign currency, which has been really, really instrumental in the growth of our business. I can say that very confidently. Exporting is challenging, but it doesn't have to be that challenging. For me, I had to work out a lot of it on my own. To talk to people, and that's why I'm so excited about this book that is coming out, because Olori has figured out, she's done it. she's been through the process like many of us, and now it's a way to make it easier for the average entrepreneur. All the information is there for you, and I think that is such a great thing. I used to be up at night looking up all these things on Google, like what is this HSC? What is this code? Is this? What is that? It was very difficult, and I'm still learning now. So a few things that I just wanted to some of the challenges with exporting for us was having to know the best shipping company to go with. There are many shipping companies out there, and I lost a lot of money trying to figure out how to price my products correctly so that we didn't lose money when it came to shipping. Sending to Australia with some companies is 23,000 naira, 24,000, 30,000, one pair of shoes, and I was like, that is so crazy. So with other companies, I was able to thankfully find someone who I'm happy with now. I currently use them, and they are company. They also very quick, and I also now have that I go through shipping quantity. So just quickly, the other thing about exporting, which is fantastic, is you get large wholesale orders, and you don't always tend to get that locally. You might get a few consignments, giving things over for free until they sell. You then get paid. But internationally, if I have to send an item out, as people are ordering 100 pieces, 200, 1,000, I say, okay, we need 60% up front, and the rest we get when we're ready to ship. So that's a very short way of, a nice having thousands of. So for us, that's a big thing. But knowing how to price your items as well is important. Also knowing that your quality has to be standard when you're shipping out. Consistency is key, and in Nigeria we do have an issue with finishing at times, and international consumer is not going to be as we've had the issue as well. Things get returned if they are not up to that standard, and that's a cost. So knowing all these things, how to make sure how you're pricing your products for yourself, for your consumer, as well as quality control, knowing certain goods, what your product will fall under being exported, knowing how to price so that you're not getting charged high customs fees, or your customs is very important. So exporting for us is a game changer. To sum up, not only have we been able to export our brand to foreign markets and create a new name for, well, not, it's there, but we're creating a new name, a new narrative for Nigeria, made in Nigerian products. A lot of people get my stuff, in America or Australia, they're like, I didn't know you guys were manufacturing shoes in Nigeria. I didn't know that. These are really beautifully made and other stuff. So it's really nice to hear that instead of hearing the stories of, the kidnapping that happened last week, the 119 that happened the other week. And these are stories that people regularly tell. I want to get to tell a new story. And if that's through exporting, if that's through beautiful, quality products, whether it's agro, whether it's manufacturing equipment, I think that's important. So for me, it has not.
Akudo, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I can hear you now.
Okay, so you've done a fantastic job. If you go on, no one would want to read the book anymore. You've literally said everything.
Yes,
so thank you so much. It was great having you with us. Yes, in 1 minute, what would you say to someone who is scared of exporting?
I would say I think everyone is scared when it comes to trying something new, and I think that kind of thing. Let it drive and allow to research. You've got resources now. You've got online resources. You've got the NEPC. You've got different people that will help you research. Know your stuff, because once you can't be scared anymore. Take the step. Give it a shot, and then go from there. It's always worth taking a shot. The worst you can get is a no, or I think it's always worth it. And as someone said, if you go next door, it can really impact on the growth of your business, for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and I wish you the very best with your export business. Can we give her a round of applause, please?
Thanks, everyone.
And we should have Ayodele Olajiga, CEO Food Pro, online as well. Not yet. 1 minute. Okay. So I think we should move on to the final talk, and we'll come back to Ayodele's testimonial after that. She walked in while we were speaking. Her name is Chinwe Egwim. She is a corporate executive and author. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, so Ms. Chinwe Egwim is an economist and currently works at FBN Quest Merchant Bank, an arm of FBN Holdings. She has notable practical experience in producing relevant economic research reports. Chinwe is an active member of the AFDB annual meetings. She sits on the board committee on research at the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. Chinwe is also the national focal point for Nigeria on a UNECA development project on services trade in Africa, and she has received several recognitions for her professional work. She's going to be talking to us about the economist's perspective on borderless trade. Chinwe Egwim, everyone.
Oh, so good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today to what I refer to as a well-needed conversation. Congratulations again, dearest Olori, on the publication of your book, Borderless Trade. I've had the privilege of reading it, and I must say that it is an essential tool for anybody who is interested or serious in engaging in export activity. Yeah, so I am here today to share my perspective. I'll just correct, not the economist's perspective, and there's so many economists out there, so an economist's perspective on trade. So yeah, so I'm going to touch upon specific economic indicators, and hopefully by the time I am done, everyone listening to me will be compelled to take forward steps towards export-related activities. And I shall start with GDP. So GDP, gross domestic product. Real GDP in Africa is projected to contract by at least minus 1.7%, and that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is minus 3.5%, and I'm sure everyone in this room knows why. The COVID-19 pandemic has triggered a lot of disruptions across economies, and of course, African countries are not neglected with regards to this. So the most affected economies are those with poor healthcare systems, those that rely heavily on tourism, international trade, commodity exports, just like Nigeria. You can see what's going on with the oil product, oil commodity. And those with very high debt burdens, I think we also fall in that category, as well as high dependence on volatile international financial flows. So looking specifically at Nigeria, we received the recent or latest national accounts not too long ago, and the economy contracted by minus 6.1%. That's very steep. It was expected. And when the Q3 national accounts are released, another contraction is expected. So when you have two contractions consecutive, that's a recession. So technically, a recession is underway. What does this mean? Private capital investments and economic opportunities will decline. In most cases, SMEs will struggle to stay afloat. Some are already struggling. Both earning and spending capacity will weaken, and so on. So if feasible, expanding earning capacity via export-related activities should be highly considered. Let's jump into inflation. Inflation has risen across specific African countries, particularly during this pandemic. Nigeria's headline inflation has been at double digits for over 30 months. As I speak, the pandemic has resulted in both demand and supply side constraints. So both the latter, which is supply side, outweighs demand. What I'm trying to say is that there are supply chain disruptions, and so because of that, you're seeing a lot of hikes in the markets. Those of you that go to the market to buy food stuff, I'm sure you're seeing the penetration in the market. So what's going on? Pockets are squeezed. Pockets were squeezed before the pandemic, but it's become even worse now that the pandemic has taken place, or during this pandemic. So you now have to do even more to maintain top position on consumers, customers, clients, whatever you want to call them, on their spending priority lists. What's the linkage to export here? You can expand your customer base by stretching into other markets while ensuring you stay on top of mind with existing customers. Exchange rate. I'm sure you all know what's going on with FX dynamics here in Nigeria. At some point, the exchange rate hit 470 naira per USD on the parallel market. That's what we call black market. This is one indicator that I have discussed over and over since March. I'm tired of discussing it. Having an option to earn in USD will help calm the nerves of those that are consistently chasing exchange rate movements, and that's almost all of us. So export earnings will help you achieve this. Unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is set to remain on an upward trajectory. For some, this may mean salary restructuring. Recent surveys conducted show that businesses have had to revise salary packages downwards to stay afloat. There is a whole value chain when it comes to exporting products. Perhaps picking interest in one of these activities across an export value chain will help create necessary buffers that can lessen shocks from labor market hiccups. So in a nutshell, what am I saying? Diversify your revenue source by plugging into an export value chain. And when we talk about exports, I'm sure it's not just have a product and export. You can also invest. You can also be an investor in an export business. And that's a way to diversify your revenue and boost your earning capacity. So I'll just briefly touch upon trade. I received the latest trade report from the Bureau of Statistics, I think that was 2 days ago. And the report showed that the value of trade declined. I think it came in at 6.2 trillion naira for Q2 2020. That's the latest data we have. And this was a decline of 27%. Exports declined by 46%. So of course that's a negative, but then in things, when you see things like this, you should also see there are opportunities, right? So there have now been 3 consecutive trade deficits. A trade deficit is when exports outweigh imports. So we've had 3 consecutive trade deficits now. So this, in my opinion, points towards vast room for opportunities within the non-oil export segment. A few products that are listed as frequent non-oil export products within agriculture include raw cocoa beans, sesame seeds, cashew nuts, and ginger. So I did some data analysis. I dated back to about 8 quarters, and these products featured consistently in each quarter. So I decided to throw them in here and share with you. Now, I only mentioned these for those that may be interested in exporting and have no clue on where to start with regards to products. However, I expect that you conduct extensive research, just as the former speaker virtually said. Pull in the necessary professionals, if possible, to assist you make decisions. And last but certainly not least, buy and read Borderless Trade by Olori Boye Ajayi. Thank you so much for being an attentive audience.
Very much. Please let's give her a round of applause. We want to especially and truly and deeply welcome Mr. Chukwuma Moye. Chukwuka Moye. He's the Director General, Delta State Economic Summit Group and CEO, CUC Consulting Limited. And he came in all the way from Asaba for this event. Please let's give him a round of applause. Please, can you give a special wave to the... How do you greet in Asaba? Ndosa. Mekwo. You are most welcome, most welcome. Great to have you here. So we will take one last testimonial, and then we'll move on quickly to the unveiling of the Borderless Trade Fund. And yes, we'll talk about that. Is Debo online? Debo Ajayi?
Hi, yes I am.
Hello, Debo. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hi, yes I can. I can hear you clearly.
Fantastic. It's great to have you share your experience with us. Please tell us what exactly you're exporting and what your export story is.
Okay, thank you very much, Tracy. Thank you, Olori, for the opportunity. Okay, so you need to buy the book to understand this, right? A lot of us always think about export in terms of goods, but a lot of us don't understand that export goes beyond goods. You can also export services and knowledge, and that's really very important to note. So my name is Ibo Ajayi. I run a marketing and communications firm here in Lagos, Nigeria. And it is interesting that a lot of our clientele are based out of Nigeria. So essentially, what we export out of Nigeria is knowledge, right? It's a knowledge economy we're in right now. It's a knowledge world. I can remember starting my business a few years ago, having a few SME clients here and there. And by virtue of the experience I had in the industry prior to starting my agency, I realized that there were opportunities out of Nigeria for lots of people, but people were not just taking the opportunities available, right? So I started thinking about it. What would it cost me? What would it take for me to sign up foreign clients and earn in pounds and earn in dollars? It was just a passing thought initially. By virtue of my experience, I worked with a few agencies out of the country, so I knew I could do. I knew I had what it took to do the job. And I think in my last role before I started my agency, my role was Pan African. So I was running a team for an organization across 4 different African countries. So traveled a bit, met a lot of people, and I realized that there was an opportunity. So when I started, I mean, I was just positioned for it. I did a lot of analytics about what the average cost people would pay for my service if I lived in the UK, if I was from the US or Canada. Looked at what people were paying here, so that there was a differential. So already, because it's a virtual world and I can serve anybody anywhere in the world, I already had an advantage on pricing just by virtue of being in Nigeria. So I could price significantly lower than the rest and offer the same value. But essentially, my team delivers it from here, and that's how the journey started. And it's been exciting. It's been interesting. Exporting knowledge is, I dare say, a lot more easier than exporting goods. Primarily because there are a lot of things you don't have to go through with customs, but there is still a system to it. And Olori addresses exactly how to export anything, including knowledge, in her book. So I can remember when she sent the book to me to read and all of that. I'm looking at it like, wow. It's almost like someone takes a very complex situation and simplifies it step by step what you need to do. And something she does very excitingly well is a lot of us are always about the actions we need to take, what we need to do to get the next deal, the next business, sell the next product and service online. But what Olori has done is help you with creating a structure on the back end, because it is very easy for things to fall through when you don't have a structure on the back end. So yeah, if you are in the knowledge economy, you have any skill set. When it comes to marketing, we have things like SEO, web development, programming. This is a skill set that is in demand globally, and there is a science to exporting it. Borderless trade is the first step to getting to where you want to be. I'm not the only person here that exports knowledge. Quite a number of people do it. There's a science to it. I have a friend that I know has exported so much when it comes to knowledge to other African countries. And it's just remarkable the things that Nigerians can do online. Yes, we have a trust deficit issue. Yes, the first reaction of people when you say a Nigerian is, am I sure? But you do a good job, you leave a track record of excellence, you follow through on the processes taught in the Borderless Trade book, and you would have an amazing time exporting. Thank you.
Narrative, that's how we change the narrative. People begin to see that we're doing more than they think we're
Very
doing.
true.
So, final question is, what has been the most challenging part of exporting knowledge for you? If you can keep that to 1 minute, please.
Most difficult part of exporting knowledge. Okay, in the space I'm in, knowledge is being updated frequently, primarily daily. So the most difficult part about exporting knowledge is keeping up with the current knowledge available right now. The internet makes things very easy, but also makes things very difficult. You don't want to try to export something and your audience, your participants, your clients are already 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, because they have access to the internet just like you do. So you always have to be ahead of the curve, and that is a lot of work. Seminars, conferences, certifications, master classes, masters, MBAs. You just keep on keeping on. You just have to continue what you do. So you never get to a point in the knowledge economy where you have learned enough or where you know enough. That's the recipe for that. So yeah. So the most difficult thing has been keeping up. It's been tough to keep up.
Thank you very much, Debo Ajayi. Thank you. Can we give him a round of applause,
Thank you,
please?
Jesse. Thank you.
And we have one more person, Ayodele Olajiga. We couldn't reach Ayodele earlier, but now we have Ayodele, CEO Food Pro. Hello, Ayodele. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Fantastic. It's great to have you here. So please share your export story with us.
Okay, no, thank you very much. So I started a company called Food Pro Limited. Food Pro on cashew nuts. So we as a business, cashew, we export to Europe, to the US, and we've done a bit of trade with Now, yeah.
Sorry. How did exporting affect your business? So what impact did exporting have on your business?
So I mean, export transforms your business. It doesn't in a couple of ways. I mean, the first one obviously is your finances are your finances are and then the second thing is that the quality of your product goes up significantly because you have buyers who have specific standards that you have to meet. And that's very crucial because then it builds into our domestic business because people also then like the quality of our products domestically as well.
And what is one piece of advice you have for people who would like to start exporting?
I would say, apart from engaging with any PC, reading the book we're talking about now, maybe find a way to either get a mentor who has exported, or who is also because I think there's so many things along the line. If you haven't done it, you just haven't done it. You can't help someone else. And there's no point making someone has made before if you can just learn from them.
All right, thank you very much, Ayodele. Can we give Ayodele a warm round of applause, please?
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll swiftly move on to the Q&As. We'll be rounding up soon. Again, thank you everyone for being here this Friday afternoon. If you have questions online, please send them in. Send the questions in. We'll take as many as we can in a limited period of time. And if you also have questions in here, please feel free to indicate and your questions will be taken down. Okay. Thank you. So we have some questions written here and they are directed to the speakers. I'll just step aside so we can see them. How are we doing, sirs? Ma? Are we great? You're great. Fantastic. Okay, so this first question is for Mr. Babatunde Faleke. Says, what are the best products to export? Do I need to apply for licenses? And how can people navigate negatively impacting export policies? So let's take it one at a time. What are the best products to export? Can we have the microphone, please? Okay.
It's a question I don't like to answer. I've been obvious because if you're asking me what best, then I can help you. What I get back to you is that, what is your passion? That's why I answer that question. What do you have in your hand that we can develop? Because I tell people I can export all of you as you are seated. Yeah. All I need is to repackage you, know what you know, and I export you. So anything that is non-oil by my profession is exportable. So you need to know what are you passionate about, because as an entrepreneur, it is not profit that first drive you, it's the passion if you want to succeed. And you turn passion to business. So many people find themselves in just, these are people are called portfolio exporters. You just look at what can I put there and it goes. And the moment that one face, they go back. In those days, pure water are tied in nylon. Ice water, everybody buys it. But somebody started repackaging, and it's all over. So nobody is trying a new thing again. So you need to develop what you want to export. That's the way on one side. You need to develop what you want to export, because everything is exportable.
Okay. Fantastic, thank you. Let me go to Barrister Kola's question. We'll come back to you, sir. This person says, we would like to know the procedure needed to be done before starting an export agency. So the person wants to compete with you.
No, they should see the publisher of the book.
See the publisher of the book?
Yeah, tell them the procedure, what they need to do and what they don't need to do before they want to go into export.
Right, okay. So this person, also for you, the person says, you mentioned exporting your services, which we've heard quite a bit. Is there a service
across.
Fantastic. Really quickly, how can people reach you? What's the easiest way to contact you?
We have nepc.gov.ng. Simple.
nepc.gov.ng.
Yes, just reach us information. I mean, we are online.
Okay.
Everybody's online. I mean, we are the NEPC website is very, very friendly.
Okay.
It's being improved every day.
All right.
Yes.
Fantastic. Barrister Kolawe, what's the easiest way to reach you? Because people are going to be looking for you after this.
As I say, let me make it simple. If you can get across through Olori, let me tell the reason so people don't see it some other way out. Aside from the platform, I've trained for the Nigerian Export Promotion Council over 1,500 people. And everybody wants to call you. And some don't have time, they don't know time. Something just comes into their head. Okay, let's ask. They just call you 12 midnight. So I tried not to give numbers.
Okay.
So if there's anybody that needs anything in respect of this program,
Okay.
I'm very close to Olori. You can just get in touch with Olori, and Olori just get across to
Prof says he wants to say something.
Well, thank you very much. And those who are listening to him is being elusive. I'm happy you said that because you said something earlier on. I have a question to ask quickly. But before then, I pride myself in government as one of the most accessible in government. But just as you've said now, and I'm happy you just shot yourself in the foot, I ran investment for Lagos State for 4 years as a cabinet member. Everybody who brought a proposal to office wanted a response. We gave them a response. But people who are not happy with the response you give them, they will go back and say, you know, it is what it is. That is what. So I'm happy you answer in that way you just answered. But what I wanted to ask is, I was yesterday on STV, what is it called? Silverbird. And one of the important questions they asked yesterday when I was there was the crisis between Nigeria and Ghana. Now here we're talking about export. I'm sort of restraining myself a bit because I remember when I came into office in Lagos State, export was part of my office. But I told the governor point blank that I wouldn't do it. He said, why? I said, look, I called Nasima.
That was why you didn't touch that paper.
Wait, no. I said, I called Nasima. I called Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. I called even LIRS, Lagos State. Can you give me the list of which companies are in Lagos exporting what to where before I will know what to support? None of them could give me. Nobody in Lagos State, when I was in government, had a comprehensive list of companies exporting what from Lagos or Nigeria to where. Then how could I support them? So I said, you know what? This is not where to. The first thing is to do a comprehensive compendium of which of these companies exist in the state. And I was able to do that before I left. But my real question is, you are talking about the African trade, free trade agreement and this and that. We have so many of them. But my fear is that, I'm sure you might be aware of this, Africa today, and I can tell you straight away, has some of the finest treaties on any subject. Fact. I won't take too much time. So you can sign any trade agreement. The question is, let's even talk about ECOWAS here. Important because you want to earn dollar, yen, euro, this and that. It's export. You can earn them from across the borders here. Even within ECOWAS, we've been talking about monetary union, right? Supposed to be January 2020. But 5 members of ECOWAS, 15, on their own, unilaterally adopted CFA. That is within ECOWAS. Then take that within the continent of Africa. What I'm saying is that whatever export, and that is where again NEPC comes in, whatever export ideas we have, we need to understand what the government is doing about it. If Ghana woke up and said, you know what, any Nigerian wanting to trade, go and deposit, like anybody, $1 million. Whether you like it or not, that's a direct reaction to Nigeria closing down its borders. So you have, what I'm saying that you have sub-regional and continental regimes that Nigeria is a party to. Under international law, those are obligations you have to comply with. So you cannot practice protectionism on the one hand and then expect other people to open their own borders on the other hand. You must be able to address. I don't want to take your time. It's not an academic, but it goes down to both the theory and the practice we are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, you can, sir.
All right. Basically, when it comes to the ECOWAS region, it's a very dynamic market. And somebody asked a question, say, how do you navigate policies without falling out of laws? Goods are still moving every day. in spite of all these non-compliance. There's a certain level of compliance, like duty-free within the West African sub-region, there's a compliance. There's a compliance about 5 countries. The balance are not complying about the 5 countries. But the facts remain that trade will go on. And coming to Nigeria blocking borders and Ghana retaliating to, everybody still exists as a sovereign entity. So when there's an issue like that, I have this mind, how do we walk around this state? And this is what we're doing now. In collaboration with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, we're setting up trade house. In the first place, in the entire region, nobody wants to leave the retail end of the market to foreigners. Nobody wants to do that. We don't even do that in Nigeria. In the Okari area, the Chinese don't sell in the main market. Chinese remain the importer, and they sell to the distributors who are Nigerians, and Nigerians sell to the retailers. But we want to go to Ghana and start buying, or start selling in Mokala market, in the open market. I have an office in Ghana, a registered office in Ghana. So the facts still remain that we must find a way out, and the way out is the trade house concept. We're setting up the first trade house in Togo anytime from now. So what do we mean? Nigerians don't have to be selling the market. The warehouse is like a showroom like this. We have all made in Nigeria products there. Name, addresses, products, prices, and everything. An average Ghanaian can walk into the place and make an order, even for 10 cartons, even for 5 boxes. And we aggregate the total sales and put them in a truck and bring them to them. Then you have empowered that nation. You have empowered the economy of that state, because their people will now be setting up company to be able to trade and start paying taxes. So that's the way out from this protectionism that they are trying to do. Since we can't stop doing that, because we need to close the border for ourselves too. We need to stop the adulterated products coming in. We need to stop the contraband, illegal products that are coming into the country. So we must always try to find a way out. That's what we want to do. Maybe if you had called me or answered me, I would have given you the list of Nigerian exporters.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Would you like to add something in 30 seconds?
Just a comment about what Prof said. Look, governments have reasons for doing certain things. And by the time you go deeper too, you just see that there are some. It can't be forever. Things cannot. It's where we are global world. The question I used to ask that, okay, if you say you do this, has it stopped the issue? No. So you just have to change policy. Policies must be dynamic. Because when you say you close border, the truth is that you mean things are still not coming in. But the truth is that, and also the point is that we need to build institutions that are reputable. We need to work, and a lot of advocates need to go on these institutions. You see American working. Why? Institutionalization. If you don't institutionalize things, if my custom will not do what they need to do, that's a problem. If immigration will not do what you do, that's a problem. If any piece will not do what it's supposed to do, there is a problem. So laws must not be bent for any reason. We need to make some institutional working. If institution is working, honestly, we have less problem. But where institution is not working, there will always be chaos.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And Chinwe, how can you be reached?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think the best way really is via social media.
Okay.
So I try my best to look at my messages, and I have a team that runs through my messages. So I definitely will get to anybody through that.
Okay. Can we give a round of applause to our speakers, please? We are rounding up soon, very soon. Before we move on, I'd like to pay special recognition to our partners of this event. Red Edit Magazine, Exquisite Magazine, Today's Woman, TVC, Silverbird, Max FM, Africa Business Radio, Impact Hub, African Designers Mall, and NTA. This can be watched on NTA and Silverbird, and it's currently streaming on ABR, that's Africa Business Radio. Thank you again to everyone joining us online. Hope you are having fun and learning a thing or two. Okay, I'd like us to move on quickly to the introduction of the Export Community Group. This will be done by Mrs. Ireoluwa Shoeton. She's not here, but we'll be watching a recording from her.
Hello, everyone. My name is Irie, and I have a big announcement to make. But just before then, I'd like to first start by saying a big congratulations to Olori on the launch of her book, Borderless Trade. You should be doing nothing else but reading that book right now. It's time for us to stop playing small and start going big. It's time to stop being local and take your trade global. So I would also like to acknowledge the presence of our guest speaker, Mr. Kola Awe. Chairman, sir, I celebrate you. So Olori and I, in a quest to drive economic development, we thought to start what we call the Export Community Council. The Export Community Council basically is just supposed to develop export capacity and to create market opportunities and access to market opportunities for entrepreneurs. So if you are an entrepreneur out there, if you've got a product and you think you want to take your product from local to global, you need to be in the export community now. The export community is going to do this in 3 ways. We're going to create access to training. You will get all the in-depth knowledge, all the in-depth information you need to take your business from local to global. We're going to create access to market opportunities. So if you think that you already have a great product and you need the market, you need to join the expert community now. We're also going to create access to funding. Hence, Olori announced the 2 million trade grant. I hope you all participated to be one of the eligible persons to win that 2 million grant. So if you think you want to take your business from local to global, you need to join the expert community now. Guess what? We also have a free webinar launching in 2 weeks. So if you want to be a part of it, there's a link that will be shared with you now. I want you to sign up to join the community. After the first webinar, it will no longer be free to be a member of the community. We would have master classes, we would have fun events, we would share all the necessary information you need to take your business from local global. Listen, the world needs you. The world needs your product. It's time to stop playing small and start playing big. It's time for you to move your business from where it is to where you have always dreamt for it to go. So if I'm talking to you, if you think that you're the one I'm talking to, you don't need to be ready. The market is ready for you. We will help you get ready. So the ECC is your process to getting ready or to getting export ready. I'll see you in the community. Have a beautiful day. Bye.
That was Mrs. Iriolu Ashoeton telling us about the Export Community Group, which is partnering with OBA, Olori Boye Ajayi, with. And I'd just like to now invite Olori Boye Ajayi and Mrs. Saudat Salami, who is founder CEO Easy Shop, Easy Cook, for the unveiling of the 2 million Naira fund. I apologize. Mrs. Adetomu Tade should also please be here. Mrs. Adetomu would like you to say a few words just before we unveil this. Mrs. Adetomu is the president of International Visitors Leadership Program, Lagos chapter.
Yes, IVOP. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Life can actually be summarized in moments. And there are some moments that comes in your life and it triggers in a lot of other eye moments. For me, this is a defining moment. Thank you, Barrister. I feel like, if I say I want to follow you home, it's like, well, for what? But this is like, a major eye-opener. It's a moment that I know will usher in other great moments. Like for me, like you said, in my head, my personal commerce, my personal economy has changed. And by extension, to Nigeria. So thank you for this. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you, Olori, for putting this together. And I was just telling Mrs. Salami that we, the IVLP, the International Visitors Leadership Program of the United States Consulate in Nigeria, we really, really need this. So we won't let her go we won't let you go. We won't let you go too, sir, because I think everybody needs to hear this. So thank you for putting this together. If I say you're a lifesaver, I think I'm correct. So thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, afternoon. When Olori asked me to come to this event, it was like, some things happen, and sometimes you always just need the validation from God. I just finished a workshop for women, mostly women. It's growing your online food business. And a lot of the questions were around export. When people package food, they think about export. I've never exported anything. And I now have 43 mentees that are looking up to me to tell them how they're going to export. So the moment she sent that, I was like, oh my God. You see how God he didn't want to embarrass me, So I just said I had to be here. And I'm so happy because I want to export. I just set up a business because of this. It's on my table. I've not done anything about it. Then I have 43 mentees that are also looking at me like, Madam, show us the way. So right now, I'm number one in that master class. I'm number one in that export community because I have a whole team behind me. And I've told them, I've already said it on Instagram, I've not even seen the book, but I know her, I follow her, and I know that it's going to be simple. So for us idiots, we're all here, and I'm looking forward to the first thing I export. So well done.
Thank you so much. I just want to say something. Yes. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for staying this long. I know people had to rush off. But again, I think for me, this wasn't just about exposing people to what's possible. It was also to aid them and provide what they need. And that's why we put the fund together. Vinoco Group and I came together and said, you know what? Let's not just keep talking and saying, you can make it, you can do it. Let's put some money behind that. And this is just the start, of course. It was not something that was in the works, but we just said, let's start no matter how small. And that's why, you want to have me?
The founder, representative of Vinoco Group just walked in. Mrs. Ivie Emiko, please come forward as we unveil the fund. Please, let's give her a round of applause.
Okay, thank you so much. So on behalf of myself and Vinoco Group, we'd like to present this wonderful fund for all of you watching, and I promise it will get bigger, don't worry. Yeah, so thank you so much.
Okay, can we get pictures, and then can we have the speakers please join them? Barrister Kola, Mr. Faleke, Chinwe. This is how the fund is going to multiply. You see how people just joined? Yes, so let's get a picture. I'll squish in as well. Thank you very much. And I'm just going to hand over now. Okay, so for those who want to order the book now, there's a stand at the back where you can place your orders. For those online, please just go to Olori Boye Ajayi on Instagram, click on the link in her bio, and you'll see a link there. The book is available on different platforms, Okada Books, Bamboo, a number of other e-platforms. Amazon as well. So for those of you in the UK, actually, you can order on Amazon and have them send you the hard copy. Those are for those who like hard copy books. How many of us like hard copy books? How many of us like ebooks? How many of us like audiobooks? Just be telling me what's inside that book. Yes, okay. So please place your orders for the book. Buy for your community, for your tribe. This is revolutionary. This is life-changing, really and truly. This is elevating Nigeria, elevating Africa. We are all exporters. If there's anything I got from that book, it's everybody can export, even me. I won't call myself an idiot, but everybody can export. Okay, so I'll just hand over now to OBA to give the closing remarks. Please don't leave. We have packs for you to go. Thank you very much for being here. My name again is Toyo Sietim F. Young, and it was wonderful hosting this event. Thank you. Give me a round of applause.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Toyosi, for that. So, closing remarks, I was like, what am I going to say? But before I say anything, I'd like to bring, this particular man, because he actually was the one who helped me to carve this path. And I think it was about 3 years ago, thereabouts. It was about 3 years, and he said, Lori, export. That's why export how, instead to tell me how I was doing it without realizing, right? He's worked with me, he's my DG, and I'm so glad he came all the way from Asaba, honor me. It's shop, but I'm grateful for the same. Please welcome Chukwuka Monye.
Good afternoon, everybody. Quickly, I want to say something, hopefully not to shake the table too much, but it's the concept of border and borderless. We've said a lot going outside the country. Let me bring it in. Let's talk about borders that we've created within Nigeria. Okay? COVID-19 made me realize that we are truly several states. Okay? I noticed that when it was time to come up with different policies, everybody said, oh, we are closing our border, even between Edo and Delta. Between Delta and Anambra. I was shocked that we're having such conversations. So this thing about border, it's not limited to us as a nation. We're having this conversation on a macro basis. But I can tell you for a fact today that if you're a commodity trader and you know the price of palm oil, you will realize that you are better off selling palm oil in Nigeria than trying to export it. Yeah? So I have friends that have plantations, and initially they were packaging and preparing for exports when they realized that the price, global price, world price of palm oil had crashed. So today, every day, you see tankers coming to grab palm oil, and they're selling locally and making a killing. Now, a lot of the people they were trying to sell to are asking, how can we sell to you here since the demand for palm oil is higher in Nigeria? Okay? So we've talked about the knowledge economy. When I moved, everybody said, I don't understand. I had other friends that were speaking English and Phone and said, hey, what about the security problems? What about this? I said, you've forgotten that it's human beings that are there. I was in Lagos running a consulting company, and there were several other consulting firms. I'm in that region, I'm the only one. What do you think that does for me from an opportunity perspective? So everybody's saying I should come. I don't have enough capacity now, but in Lagos, I was competing with so many people. So I'm saying all this to say that the concept of borderless trade, let's not limit it, to perspective, because you might actually learn a lot from developing your capabilities, from expanding within. Because I don't have to deal with custom if I'm selling from Asaba to Anambra. No. So there are things to learn before we start to take it to another level. But I have to really, really commend Olori, and I'll tell you why. This is not because I'm seeing a book. It's the process. It takes a lot for you to make a decision to do something. Execution is a big problem we have in this part of the world. Ideas, everybody. But how do you move from ideation to actually getting things done? Everybody had an idea. That's my job. Because people come to me with those ideas. And she came with ideas. But one of the things she kept saying is, yeah, but I want to see action. You know, she's always wanting, and that's the amazing thing about her. And I want her to really celebrate her for that. We're here today, but it took that determination to get it done. And I hope that it inspires other people not to just have those ideas, but to actually get it done. Congrats once again.
Thank you, Chika. I'm just grateful. My honorable DG, celebrate you. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank in fact, sir, you're on my Christmas list. I promise you for honoring me, and of course, I'm grateful for the knowledge you brought today, and almost like for me, it reaffirmed a few things as per what we can do with the export community group and the need for it as well in these particular times. Mr. Awe, I'm super grateful for today and what is to come. So please, no one should come and meet me about him, because I sense that some people are already, two people have Mr. Awe's details. You pay, or you meet me in the other borderless areas. My dear sister friend, thank you. You know, when she wrote her book, this was how many months ago? 3 or 4 months ago. I was like, if Chinwe can do it, I can do it. And I suppose that's actually what spurred me on to just finish and just get the book out of the way. So thank you for being here today. I have a busy schedule. I'm super grateful. Thank you, Mrs. Tursi. Tim Effiong, she's not just a host, you know, she's someone who, I mean, I remember when I was having struggles with writing another book I'm releasing sometime soon, and she was just like, Olori, just do it. And she kept spurring me on, and she was the first person I told when I finished the book. I said to her, I wrote a book. She was like, what do you mean you wrote a book? We are writing a book. I said, no, this is like another book. So I'm thankful, you know, to you for being there and also helping me along the way through my journey and all of that. Those of you who have been asking, Olori, you've changed. Everything on your Insta is so good. There's like a team, and I really want to celebrate. There are like 6, 7 people, you know, working and doing all of this on my behalf. For the last 1 week, I've been interestingly, just like tired. And the team just kept things going. So I really want to appreciate that, because you can have good stuff and nobody knows about it. You know, so I'm really grateful for the team that has helped me in putting all of this together. And of course, those of you at home, thank you so much for joining us. Those who came out to our COVID compliant event, I'm super grateful. Thank you so much. Dr. Henrietta is here from LBS. She really just, you know, Dr. Henrietta, please stand up. She pulled a fast one on me because I wasn't expecting her. She's a professor, I believe, at Lagos Business School. Thank you so much, you know, for honoring me. I'd like to thank Professor Ademola Abbas. He's been super instrumental in helping me expand my thinking beyond just the passion. So thank you, sir, for coming today. I'm super grateful. My friends, Just eBay, Trish, I'm grateful. I can't even, Ivy Miko, I thought I saw, but maybe I didn't. But yeah, thank you, my dear sister. And of course, if there's me, there's another somebody. Yeah, come on. So I'd really like to thank my husband. Let me say something. No, it's not even like that. It's not an emotional something. You know, one of the things that women in business, and Mr. West said something, he said finding a woman who wants to do export and all of that. I think finding a woman who wants to express herself is even hard sometimes. And having a husband who allows you, supports you. He read the book. I remember when he read the first part of the book, he said, nope, sounds Nigerian. I was like, come on, you know. But he is my biggest supporter and my biggest critique. Every critique he gives me, I know it's for the best. Like, just adjust it and it will work. And I want to thank him for his covering. I want to thank him for continuously guiding me and being here today, because he's supposed to be managing a company. And he's just here. I'm sure he's like, gotta go. But thank you so much, my love. I'm super grateful. Thank you for doing this. So yes, on that note, this is the end of the virtual and live event of the Borderless Trade event. Tursi, over to you. Or are we done? Okay, yeah, so please book away your books. So book away. Thank you.